The world had known twilight, and it had known the deep, comforting blanket of night. But it had never known this. It was a darkness not of the Earth's rotation, but of an alien, invasive void. A vast, impenetrable membrane of pure shadow, the dark force dimension, had descended upon the planet, swallowing the sun whole. Days blurred into a continuous frigid night, a perpetual eclipse that leached warmth and hope from every corner of existence. And in that ever-deepening gloom, something else stirred, something ancient and hungry, drawn by the sudden, limitless night. An invasion of vampires led by the infamous Dracula himself, now with an entire world ripe for the taking. Cities became silent hunting grounds, their streets illuminated only by flickering, desperate fires or the glow of hastily rigged emergency lights, casting long, dancing shadows that often concealed predatory forms. Humanity, reeling from the celestial assault, found itself on the brink of being extinguished by the terrestrial. It was a time of unprecedented despair, where even the most steadfast heroes seemed to struggle against an enemy that thrived in the very absence of light, an enemy whose numbers swelled with every fallen soul. Then, from the unlikeliest of places, a voice emerged, not one of comfort nor of gentle reassurance, but of cold, unyielding resolve, echoing through every communication channel. It was the voice of Victor von Doom, monarch of Latveria, and for generations, the Fantastic Four's most formidable foe. But in this dire hour, Doom presented himself not as a conqueror, but as the world's last, terrible hope. He had, through means known only to himself and perhaps a handful of desperate mystics, seized the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. The Eye of Agamotto now rested upon his armored chest, and the cloak of levitation billowed behind him, an unsettling crimson against the omnipresent black. He did not ask for trust, nor did he plead for assistance. He simply declared his intention to reclaim the sun and to cleanse the earth of its vampiric infestation. It was a declaration met with a chilling mix of fear and a desperate, fragile hope. Could the world's greatest villain truly be his only savior? The battle that followed was not one of conventional warfare. It was a clash of wills, of dark magic against darker magic, of ancient bloodlust against an even more ancient, unyielding intellect. Doom, now wielding the boundless energies of the Sorcerer Supreme, confronted Dracula directly. No longer relying solely on his technological might, though that too was integrated into his new arcane arsenal, Doom fought with incantations that twisted reality, with bolts of mystic energy that ripped through the perpetual night. He conjured shields of pure light that burned the vampire legions, and unleashed bindings of ethereal force that snaked around their forms, dragging them into oblivion. Dracula, witnessing a power he had not anticipated, a magical prowess that surpassed even his long centuries of dark arts, met Doom's challenge with a ferocity born of desperation. The very air crackled with the collision of their wills, their spells, their raw power. But Doom, for all his arrogance, possessed an unparalleled focus, a mind honed by decades of rivalry with the most brilliant minds on Earth. He was not merely a sorcerer, he was Victor von Doom, and he would not suffer defeat, especially not when the world, his world, hung in the balance. He systematically dismantled Dracula's forces, pushing back the tide of shadow and fangs until only the vampire lord remained, defiant but diminished. With Dracula's defeat, the immediate terrestrial threat began to wane, but the greater cosmic horror remained. The dark force dimension, an unmoving, suffocating shroud. This was the true monumental challenge. Doom did not simply repel the vampires, he sought to undo the very catastrophe that had enabled them.
He rose into the suffocating darkness, a lone, armored figure against the infinite void. He invoked spells of such complexity and magnitude that they strained the fabric of existence itself. He wrestled with the alien dimension, not with brute force, but with a nuanced understanding of its mystic properties, twisting its energies, finding its weaknesses, and beginning the arduous, almost impossible task of unraveling its hold. Hours passed, or perhaps days. Time had lost all meaning in the eternal night. The struggle was silent, cosmic, visible only as subtle distortions in the ubiquitous gloom. Then a tremor, a flicker, a single, infinitesimally small pinpoint of light high above. It expanded, slowly, agonizingly, pushing back the oppressive darkness. And then, with a glorious, breathtaking rush, the sun, our sun, burst forth, bathing the world in a warmth that brought tears to millions of eyes. The dark force dimension recoiled, shriveling and dissipating like a nightmare in the dawn, banished from Earth's sky. The world collectively gasped, then cheered, then wept with relief under the blessed golden light. But their jubilation was short-lived, or rather it was quickly redirected. From the sky, now brilliantly blue, Doom descended, not with humility, but with an unmistakable air of triumph and ownership. He stood before a global audience, his cloak rippling, the eye of Agamotto gleaming. He did not ask for gratitude, he did not offer peace. Instead, in that same cold, commanding voice that had first declared his intent, he stated, "I, Victor von Doom, have saved this world. It is only fitting, then, that I now claim it. You are safe, you are free of the darkness, and you are henceforth mine to rule." It was a fascinating, terrifying moment. The Fantastic Four's greatest foe had indeed become a hero, a savior, in the truest sense of the world. But his heroicism was, as always, on his terms. His capacity for immense good had been undeniable, his will to protect the planet absolute. Yet, it was irreversibly intertwined with his monstrous arrogance and his insatiable desire for control. He saved the world not out of altruism as others might understand it, but because it was his world, a resource to be protected, and then, naturally, to be governed. He extinguished a horrifying darkness, only to replace it with a gilded cage of his own making. This particular arc, One World Under Doom, offers such a rich, complex exploration of Doom's character. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that a villain can possess the courage and power to save us, but still be the last person we want in charge. It highlights the fine line between heroism and tyranny, especially when one individual wields such absolute power. What are your thoughts on Doom's twisted brand of heroism? Do you believe his actions, however self-serving, still count as heroic, given the scale of the threat he faced? Or does his immediate claim on the world nullify any good he performed? I'd love to hear your perspectives in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Marvel's most compelling figures, please consider subscribing for more stories like this. Until next time, keep pondering the complexities of our favorite characters.